Welcome back to another episode of the Intoxicated Sports Report. I'm Emerson Hip. He's Gates Emoji. And we're back in the studio finally.
We are back in the studio.
After a little 3-week hiatus.
In my notes, I put back in the studio for real this time. Because last week I thought we'd be here, but we weren't.
You tried to back out on me again today.
I'm not going to lie to you. At like 8 o'clock this morning, I'm thinking, you know what? Could I get away with not being here again today?
Not so fast.
You weren't having it.
No.
We had a good day yesterday. Drank a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Feel a lot better than I did at like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Sure.
But yeah, feel fine. Feel good now. I actually feel pretty good.
We're here.
And we are drinking, what are these called?
These are called Corpse Reviver number 2.
Sounds like a death metal band.
Yeah, I guess
I like
so. Yeah, nice hangover cocktail. Pretty boozy.
And what does it consist of?
It's got gin.
Gin.
It's got orange liqueur, so we use Cointreau in this case.
Okay.
And Lillet, which is a aperitif, kind of a white wine liqueur type deal.
Okay.
And some lemon juice.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Cheers.
And a little absinthe, glass rinse.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. How often do you ever make these at work? Ever?
It's kind of it's a good go-to when someone's like, I want a gin cocktail, but I don't know what I want, and I just make that.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not very like gin forward. You wouldn't really notice that there's gin in it.
Yeah. No. It smells like black licorice.
Yeah. That's the absinthe for you.
Which I'm not a huge fan of.
No.
Does anybody like black licorice?
I don't like licorice at all.
You don't?
I like red licorice, also disgusting.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't eat it all the time, but I like red vines. Twizzlers.
Can't do it.
Twizzlers is like it's like chewing on rubber. Get out of here.
Yeah, I'm down on both licorices.
There's a big old bin or like a bowl of candy at work that people brought in, and there's still a ton of Twizzlers. Nobody's even touching the Twizzlers. I almost tried one just to see if they're better than what I remembered.
Yeah.
I haven't tried it yet,
Yeah.
so I bet this week I'll try one and get back to you. So
there you go.
So don't let me forget.
Okay. Why are we hungover, Gage? Other than just drinking, we celebrated.
We had Dylan's birthday party yesterday, which had to be postponed because everybody happened to get sick after our Friendsgiving, which sucks. But I think we're all feeling good now.
Former guest of the show, Dylan Padillin.
Former guest of the show, probably the most hammered you've ever been on the show.
I forgot about that. Actually, I did really forget, but I tried to.
Yeah, it was a really good time. Cody and Ashley made an appearance, which we don't see them all the time because they live kind of far away.
No.
Zach Ewan and his lovely wife were there, which I haven't seen.
That was awesome.
I haven't seen them since they got married.
Same. Yeah.
So it was really good to see everybody. It was nice to have everybody there together because I've said this before. We don't get to do that as much as we used to.
Right.
Very nice of Dylan's mom and stepdad, whatever he calls them, Sammy,
Yep.
for having us there. It's really nice. Appreciate it. Katie was the one who put it together, so thanks, Katie. You're not listening, but thank you. Neither is Dylan. It's okay though.
Yeah.
Good times though.
Good day for sure.
Do you want to admit what we did after the party?
Nah, we can skip that.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not that bad, but it's bad enough that we can just we'll leave it out.
Whose idea was it? Was it my idea?
I was your girlfriend's.
Was it?
Thanks, Devin.
Yeah, thanks, Dev.
She did pay though, so
Yeah.
I'll give her that.
Yeah, we won't say.
Yeah.
People can guess.
Yeah.
And people can ask
Take
us.
a wild guess.
People could guess and get back to us.
Yeah.
How about that?
If you you can comment on our Instagram post.
Please.
Yeah, tomorrow.
And if anybody gets it right, the first person to get it right, how about we do a shot next week?
Sure.
For him.
Or we'll take him to that place and sponsor it.
I kind of like that. There we go. So start guessing.
Yeah. You can
Start guessing where we went. Each person will get how about just one guess? You can't just start reeling them off.
Right, yeah.
Like one person can't be like this, that, this, that.
Mm-hmm.
So think about it. It's a place you might not suspect us to go to.
Right. Although Ashley is out of the running because she knows the answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Garrett because he was there.
Right.
And Devin because she was there.
Yeah, also.
So.
Okay, my friend Gage, what do we have going on today on this lovely winter
Monday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
We have World Cup, we have MLB, college football, and the bulk of the show, the NFL.
Oh, we got an interesting NFL segment today.
Yeah.
Interesting one. But we'll start with some soccer. It's called soccer.
Can I? So dumb. I think it's so dumb how they're trying to say that.
Oh, doing that campaign.
It's just
It
kinda,
is dumb,
just a little cheesy.
Right.
And for me, it's called football.
Right.
here it's called soccer.
Right.
But if someone asks me, like, what's the proper term for soccer? It's football.
Yeah. Everywhere other than where we live calls it football.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think it's stupid too. It's a very American thing of us to do.
It's a very American thing.
But anyways, speaking of America, United States, their run in the World Cup has come to an end. They lost to the Netherlands 3-1 on Saturday morning. I got up and watched this, and of course, the Netherlands scored 10 minutes into the game, which was sick. And
The U.S. almost scored like 5 minutes.
yeah, which the funny thing on the play, did you see the play?
Mhm.
Yeah, it looked like he was way offside, so I was like, oh, even if he did score. But then they showed the replay, and he was clearly on.
Yeah.
Which, man, that would have been nice to have right out the gate, because it had been a tough road getting goals for the United States all tournament. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, tough one. They just really had some breakdowns on defense that allowed really all 3 of the goals, and they actually were very lucky to get the 1 goal they did get. So, I think they got put in their place, but I think they did fairly well overall.
I expected them to lose this game, unfortunately.
Right.
I think.
Yeah, they were
Most
clearly
likely
not the
they did.
favorites.
No.
Yeah, they would have had to make some good things happen to win that one.
It's just we're far behind
Yep.
from everybody else.
It's not our sport.
It's not our sport.
Could it be? Sure, but based on the that talent that we have in this country, but they don't play soccer, unfortunately.
I think the one thing the U.S. can hang their hats on is the team's young.
Right?
They
Yeah.
could, there's a lot of time to play together and figure it out.
Yeah.
And
Got 4 years till
more
it comes here.
experience. 2026. Looking forward to
Yeah.
it.
Come on down. I think we
Okay,
get.
okay, Bob Barker.
I think there were a lot of quality components to this team. I think they just need someone that can score goals, someone that is a finisher. That they clearly lacked that. And also, I know the announcer was John Strong. Loved to call Walker Zimmerman 2-time MLS Defender of the Year, but this boy can't. He can't play against against the real European talents.
This dude's
out
name.
there.
Wait, the announcer's name was John Strong.
His name is John Strong. Yeah,
That's a killer
it's a
name.
pretty good name. Huh?
That's almost better than Corpse Reviver.
Yeah, so I will put it out there that I don't think Walker Zimmerman and Tim Ream will be our center backs next time around. But that's just an educated guess here.
I trust your judgment. It's a good guess. It's a good guess. So, on to 2026.
There we go. We will stick around and finish out this tournament on the show. Other round of 16 scores so far. Argentina beat Australia 2-1 as expected. France beat Poland 3-1. England 3-0 over Senegal. Brazil won today 4-1 over South Korea. They scored all 4 goals in the first half.
Jeez.
Got out to a blazing start. Neymar came back from injury, so they look like the favorites at this point, with France, of course. And then Croatia beat Japan in penalties after a 1-1 draw.
Mbappe is going for his 2nd World Cup already.
Correct.
Isn't that nuts?
He's a stud. That's why they're talking about him so much.
I would like to see maybe a Neymar. Has Neymar won it?
Nope.
You know?
Nope.
Neither is Messi, neither is Ronaldo.
Correct.
It'd be nice to see one of those.
Yeah.
I mean, even Mbappe. To see one of those guys.
I don't know if it's
get it.
if it's possible, but if we got to see Argentina face France in the final, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even Brazil and France in the final would be great. But nonetheless, round of 16, we'll wrap up tomorrow with Morocco versus Spain, Portugal versus Switzerland. The winner of those 2 games will play each other in the next round.
Who do you got in those games?
Spain and Portugal, I think, are going to be the clear favorites there.
Okay.
But Morocco has been a little bit surprised, so maybe they'll give Spain a run for their money. We'll see.
Cool. I was able to watch the U.S. match on Saturday for a little bit. You know, the 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock for me is gotta get ready for work.
Right.
I get to work at 8, so I really was only able to watch probably the first 20 minutes, which for me is good because I feel like every game that I've watched of the U.S. fully, they either didn't win or they drew.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah.
I kind of thought I was the bad luck, but I think the U.S. might just stink. So
Yeah, they weren't good enough. Let's be real.
We're good,
they proved it. So yeah, we will. I think we'll be down to the final 4 teams next time we're on,
okay.
because the round of 8 will be on Friday and Saturday of this week.
Haven't watched much besides that, unfortunately. But I think once the games start getting closer to the actual World Cup final,
Right.
which I would like to watch, I think I'll be watching more. I'll be probably watching a little closer.
Tune in a little bit. Yep.
Just depending on the time. It's just hard with the times.
Yeah, because they are early-ish for us. like 7 in the morning was the United States game, obviously.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
So we'll see.
should be fun. Baseball. Big free agent news we got going on right now.
Are you hurt?
Not yet. I could be sometime soon.
Referring to Jacob deGrom.
Yeah, Jacob deGrom is going to the Rangers. Got a lot of money considering his injury concerns.
Yes.
5 years, $185 million. That maths out to $37 million a year.
So I didn't really know how bad his injury history is. So would you have actually want him on the Giants? I know you love the guy. And I know when he pitches, he is great.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's definitely risk. He's not young. He's going to be 35 this year.
Yeah.
But he's still awesome when he's out there. So it's
great.
like, I would be willing to take the risk, but at the same time, this is a lot of money. I was thinking that he was going to probably get a 3-year contract. Yeah, I mean, good for him. I think I don't really know how the situation going with Texas is going to be like. I mean, they have some good players, but they're not a really well-rounded team at this point. So he might just be pitching for.
We have a good middle infield.
Yeah, Simeon and Seager, pretty good. Who they both signed last year, I believe.
Also, I'm gonna give Bruce Bochy a shout out. He got Jacob deGrom on his team.
Yeah.
And who, I can't blame Jacob deGrom. He probably wants to play for Bochy.
Knowing Boch, she's going to run this motherfucker into the ground.
But if they win a World Series for some reason, it's all
sick.
worth it.
That'd be sick.
It's all worth it. So shout out to Boch, of course. It's gonna be weird seeing him back in the league.
I know. I really didn't think he was going to come back. I just felt like those last couple of years with the Giants, he was just toast. Like you could just
He could barely walk.
he
out
could
to
barely
the
walk
mound.
to the fucking mound. Like, is he going to still walk out there? Did he get a new leg?
He's gonna like segue there.
That would be amazing.
He's gonna do like a one wheel.
Just segue there. That'd be good. So, in a counteractive move, you could say the Mets have signed Justin Verlander to
Yes.
2 years and $86 million with a 3rd-year option.
You know what's funny about this is I listened to Rob Parker and Chris Broussard. After they were talking about deGrom going to the Rangers, and Rob Parker, I'll give him credit, 'cause he said, I guarantee that he said Justin Verlander's going to go to the Mets because of what
Right.
they lost. So they lost deGrom, but you can argue that they got even a better player in Justin Verlander.
He's right there, yeah. They
Pitches
did.
more, and I know he had an injury 2 years ago
Yeah.
with Tommy John,
Yeah.
but he
But generally more healthy than DeGrom's been. Yeah.
just won the World Series, just won
Cy Young.
Cy Young.
Yeah.
He probably did he win another award too, like comeback player of the year or
He
something.
did.
Like that?
Yep.
So it's a big trophy year for
Right.
Justin Verlander.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna get anywhere close to the World Series with the Mets like he would with the Astros, but
I mean, the Mets are still going to be good, but yeah, we'll see.
I like Verlander.
Yeah.
I do. Just kind of respect the guy.
Yeah. I respect him for serving up those meatballs to Pablo Sandoval 10 years ago.
Game 1 of the World Series.
Yeah, that was pretty sick.
I remember watching that game with my uncle in the garage, and I remember because Pablo got close to hitting 4 home runs, I believe.
I think he hit a double in his 4th at bat or something like that.
Yeah, or maybe he went. It was either that or he hit it.
Or he hit like a deep fly ball or
A
something.
deep fly ball or
Yeah.
something like that. I remember watching my uncle, and after his 4th at bat or whatever, going for his 4th home run, he hit him. My uncle was like, "No fucking way!"
Yeah.
And then it got caught on the warning track. I'm pretty sure you might be
Yeah.
right, but for some reason I thought it was like a warning track ball.
Also, him and Max Scherzer reuniting on a pitching staff again.
Yep. I saw a picture. You're aware. You know who Sean Jordan is?
Yeah.
Big airhead guy.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
he puts you to shame. he
Also, a Stanford guy.
is he?
Oh, Stanford fan. No,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is he?
I don't know if he went there, but
Oh, that makes so much sense now that he's a Stanford fan too. Okay. He posted a picture of, or somebody posted a picture of Verlander and Scherzer on the Tigers together, and they're both smiling. And I think he quote tweeted it, and he said, "Smile if you got swept by the Giants in 2012."
nice.
So I thought that was pretty funny.
That's
I usually don't like what Sean Jordan has to say, but occasionally he is a funny man.
Are you ready for a beer?
Booty light. I gotta say that little drink you made right there just got me feeling pretty
Yeah. It definitely warmed me up.
good. Now we're drinking the King.
How many ounces is this?
Probably 16.
I feel like it could be 19. Sizzle.
There we go.
I haven't had a Bud Light in a long time. I
This-
used to drink these all the time.
When I think of Bud Light for me is the quintessential camping beer.
It's
If
a
I'm,
good-
if I'm
good
camping,
camping.
I'm drinking Bud
Yeah.
Lights.
A lot of people might say Coors Light, but
I'm
I don't like Coors Light.
I'm a Bud Light guy.
Yeah.
I will drink Coors Light, but if I had to choose, I'm picking the Blues.
This is going to be very nostalgic.
I love Bud Light.
I'm more of a Miller Lite guy now, but Bud Light used to be my jam for sure.
Oh yeah, it just has like that sweetness to it. Like, you know what I mean?
It absolutely does. Ooh, that's frosty too.
That is good. Shout out to the Marriott for these.
Yes, thanks, Mike.
Is that your GM?
Or
no,
no, just my manager.
Manager, yeah.
Oof. Okay,
Oof.
back to business. Last but not least, among big free agent moves, Trey Turner signed today with the Phillies for 11 years and $300 million.
Bye.
See ya.
See ya.
Not in the National League West anymore.
Not on the Dodgers anymore. Bye.
Of course, we wanted him on the Giants. We talked about this
We
a couple times, but I think this is a good fit for the Phillies and him.
I mean, the reigning National League champs. How can you not like this?
Right.
It just keeps getting better for Philadelphia.
Right.
In all sports.
And he's going to reunite with his old teammate Bryce Harper on a new team.
Oh, because they both played in the Nationals
That's
together.
right. That's right.
I didn't know what the years were until I mentioned it to you about an hour ago. He got 11 years,
11
$300
years.
million.
11 years. Yeah.
Good for him. That's a bag right there.
Right.
But the years for me, it's just crazy to me. The years on these contracts for baseball in particular,
Right.
are nuts.
Well, I think regardless, Trey Turner was probably worth about $300 million as a free agent. I just thought it might be more like 9, maybe 10.
Mm-hmm.
But
And you said he's how old right now?
he's going to be 30 at some point next year, I believe.
So the chances of him, playing out this whole contract probably are slim.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be interesting to see how a guy like him ages, because he does have some pop, but his game is built a lot around speed and base stealing at this point. So we'll see how he ages, but definitely a very good player.
Sad he's not on the Giants, but I'm really glad he's not on the Dodgers anymore. So
He looked good in those pinstripes, I think.
yeah, I mean it's the best pinstripe uniform in baseball.
I will leave it at that. Our final baseball news of the day: Fred McGriff, former Atlanta Brave, Tampa Bay Ray. I think he played with the Cubs for a hot minute. Inducted into the Hall of Fame by what's called the Era Committee. I think they used to be called the Veterans Committee, but now it's called the Era Committee. 16 person panel that voted him into the Hall of Fame.
Had to get 12 votes, right?
Had to get 12 of those 16 votes, and he got it. I don't know why he wasn't a Hall of Famer already.
Okay, I was gonna ask you if you thought. I mean, 493 home runs career. I mean, it sucks he didn't get 500.
But I mean,
I feel like if you hit 500, that should get you in the Hall of Fame for home runs.
right. 493. I mean, I think the reason that he didn't get in initially was that he was a first baseman, and so like you should be hitting home runs all the time if you're a first baseman.
Yeah.
I still think you hit 493. He had 9 30 home run seasons. That's Mr. Consistent. His first 30 home run season came in 1988, and his last one came in 2002. So that's a long span of time of being a very good player, right?
I gotta say, I've never even heard of this guy before. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I mean, he was big in the 90s. So I mean, but
I mean, I know you probably know who he is because you were a baseball aficionado.
Yeah,
I've never heard of. It maybe rings a little bell, but it's not like Don Mattingly, who was up for contention, which he didn't get in.
Correct. Yeah, and he was also on the ballot.
And I've heard a lot of people who have played and who are like around baseball who think Don Mattingly should be in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Because he won an MVP and he was a really good player.
Right.
For a good amount of time.
Considered one of the best hitters of the 80s. So yeah. I think sometimes you do have to consider the era that someone played in as well. You can't just look at raw numbers all the time.
Also, I think it's worth noting Barry Bonds was up for this, as many people who are listening probably know, and he didn't get in. I think he got 3 or 4 votes from 12.
Yeah. Of course, all the other kind of controversial guys like Clemens and Rafael Palmeiro were up for this as well.
Do we know how many Clemens got?
I think all those guys got 4 or less. Yeah.
It's just, I don't know what's going to take for Barry. And Roger Clemens deserves to be in too.
Yeah. I mean, theoretically, this was their last chance unless they come up with some new way for a guy to get in, but.
You think there's a point where Barry Bonds is going to say, you know what, I'm going to own I'm the best player to not be in the Hall of Fame type thing? I mean, I know he wants to be in probably more than anything.
Right.
But at a point, you probably got to make a joke out of it. Be like, well, at least I'm the best player ever to not be in.
Right.
You know what I mean? Unless you want to say Pete Rose, but I think Barry Bonds is a better player than Pete Rose.
Right. I also I've said this before, I think, but the Hall of Fame is just kind of funny because we all know who we think should be in. So it's like, what actually matters to you, to anyone, you know? Like, just because these guys write for baseball doesn't mean they should be the only ones the only opinions that matter, you know?
Yeah, it's a weird situation.
Yeah.
Sucks for Barry, sucks for Roger, but a lot of people probably say, well, we shouldn't have used.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
and I get that. And I'm sure right now they are wishing they didn't make that mistake or do that.
right.
You know, because I'm sure being in the Hall of Fame is something that they would value. At least Barry Bonds. I mean, did Roger Clemens win a World Series?
I believe he did. Yeah. With the
So at least
Yankees.
Roger Clemens says,
I think he
well,
did with the Yankees.
at least Roger Clemens.
Maybe not, actually.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, you may not have.
So if they both, Barry didn't win one, if Roger didn't win one, then this is getting the Hall of Fame is the next best thing. I would think.
Yeah.
You want to hit to the pinnacle and win the championship, obviously.
Right.
But if you can't, I would think making it in the Hall of Fame is probably second on the list of things.
Right. Oh, he won 2 World Series.
Oh,
Roger
okay.
Clemens did, so.
So at least he has that to hang his hat on.
Right. 2000 with the Yankees and who else? How did he win 2 World Series?
It says two.
Yeah.
Where do you see the
Oh, 99 and 2000. Okay. Yeah, 99 2000.
Where on this? Oh, okay.
2 World Series.
Nice. So he's got 2. So he's thinking, yeah, Hall of Fame's nice, but at least I got 2 rings.
Right.
And they can't take those away from him.
Exactly.
So maybe next time, if there is a next time for our boy.
Yep. I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, we can all think that he should be a Hall of Famer anyways, and
Yeah.
that's that.
It is what it is.
Also, shout out to Gaylor Perry. He passed away this
Yes.
past week.
Yes.
Giants legend, baseball legend. I think 2-time Cy Young Award winner, if I'm not mistaken.
He also played for a lot more teams than I thought.
Yeah, he
wasn't-
bounced around.
He wasn't just a Giant.
Right.
He was to start his career, I believe he was on the Giants.
Right. I want to say he pitched with Cleveland.
He played for a lot of teams.
Yeah, it's Cleveland, Texas. That was it. Oh, no. What the fuck? But yeah, he bounced around.
Yeah, bounced around.
Like in his late 30s and 40s.
Yep.
That's funny.
He has a statue in front of, or maybe not in front, but around the stadium at
I believe you're correct.
Oracle
Yeah.
Park. So
Yeah, it's funny. He never won a Cy Young with the Giants. He pitched 10 years for him, but both of his Cy Youngs came later. One with Cleveland and the other one with the Padres when he was 39 years old.
Jeez.
That's pretty badass.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I was planning on it, but I kind of thought you were going to handle that anyways.
Yeah.
I thought you would make a note of it. Look at Larry Fitzgerald on the set for ESPN.
Larry Fitz, look like a stud. Look at that jacket. That's sweet.
Pretty nice. He looks like he can still catch about 80 balls.
Oh yeah, easy.
Couple tutties.
Arguably best hands, at least in like our generation.
Yeah.
I mean, he was perennial 80 catch guy,
Yeah, he was.
and sometimes over 100.
And he was playing with quarterbacks who... He had Kurt Warner, made it to the Super Bowl with
Yeah.
Kurt Warner, but...
They weren't always the greatest.
Carson Palmer.
Yeah.
Like, if he had Kyler in his prime... I mean, Kyler's not great right now, but I think Kyler probably is better.
Very
than-
talented, yeah.
Maybe not better than Kurt Warner, but
Yeah.
the second best Cardinals quarterback of all time. Already.
Bar's pretty low.
It is very low for the Cardinals, yes.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's talk about some college football. It was championship week. this
Speaking of
past
college
week.
football, we didn't even mention this jersey.
Well, man, I was kind of gonna wait for the Niners to talk, but we're here.
It's a college jersey.
Yeah, I'm finally getting to display my new Christian McCaffrey jersey. It's not the exact one I wanted. I wanted a cardinal red Stanford jersey, but I got the black one.
Devin was saying that she was surprised you had the black, but I told her that you won the Cardinal one.
Right.
It's clean.
But it is a clean jersey. You can't go wrong with black usually.
And let's say you're eating some like nice red salsa and you spill, you're good.
I mean, I already got a little stain on it, but that'll come out in the wash.
No, it's fine. It's black.
Yeah,
Unless you get bleach on it, you're fine.
exactly.
I think it's clean.
It's comfortable too.
It's legit.
It's no stitch, but you know.
I like wearing black, so I like
Yeah.
the black.
Yeah.
I knew you were gonna get a Stanford one. I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
It felt better. Like if I got a Niner one right away, like I've seen some Niner ones in the stands already. I'm like, really? You
Does,
just jumped on already?
Do any of our friends have a McCaffrey 91? Does T-Mart have one yet?
No, I think he did joke about getting one. I don't know how serious he was though.
It would kind of be like you get a McCaffrey one right now. It would kind of be like those people who got KD ones for
Yeah.
the Warriors,
Yeah,
like
a little
initially.
bit. A little bit. Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, okay.
You're one of those.
You're one of those fans. Okay. I do respect the Stanford one. It looks nice. So Happy for you.
Thanks, bud. All right. Speaking of the Pac-12, which Stanford plays in, and they beat Notre Dame this year. I'm just kidding.
That's like, what, 4 weeks in a row we've mentioned Notre Dame losing to Stanford.
Pac-12 championship game. We love to see USC lose. It's just so beautiful. They got their doors blown off by Utah, especially in the second half.
They lost to Utah twice this year.
Yep, there were only 2 losses. They had a chance to avenge that loss, and they just fell on their face.
The best thing about this was the USC's quarterback's name is
Caleb Williams.
Yeah. He had "fuck Utah" on his fingernails.
Did he really?
Yeah, it had the writing. It said "fuck Utah."
What a clown.
And then what happens? They lose.
You get fucked by Utah.
You know what I call? I call that karma.
Yeah, right. And USC was up 14-3 driving, had to settle for a field goal. And after that, Utah went on a 44-7 run to finish the game. Absolute dominance.
I wasn't able to watch this game, unfortunately, and then I got your text. You said, like, what, USC,
I said LOL, USC, LOL, in all caps.
And I'm like, thinking, like, no way, USC's losing. I look at my phone, they're getting their asses spanked.
Yeah. I honestly thought the game was over when it was 17-3. I was like, the USC's just going to cruise. They're going to the playoff. Not so fast.
And so, yeah, them losing, they're out of the playoff, clearly.
Lincoln Riley coming up short in a big game once again. What's new?
I know somebody who's probably very happy with this outcome. I know somebody's very
His
happy.
name is not Colin Coward.
Colin Coward was in shambles over this, I'm sure.
He probably found some way to make light of it, guaranteed.
Yeah, he probably said, like, oh, the future's really bright.
Yes. They shouldn't have even been there.
Yeah. What?
Year 1, shouldn't have even been there.
What Lincoln Riley has done for USC this year
Yeah.
was great, regardless.
I still believe he's probably the best coach they've had since, like, Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. But nonetheless, down go the Trojans.
See ya. I knew somebody, well, I know the person, like, we know of each other. Follow him on Instagram. He's a big USC fan.
Oh, yeah.
He went to the game.
Oh, bummer.
And I was like thinking about him, like, damn, he was probably down bad.
He was inside the Death Star.
Was it in Vegas?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, they said sorry to fucking Levi Stadium for the Pac-12 championship.
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, I think they did do like a little rotation, but yeah, they're done with that. I think Vegas is kind of a good central location for the Pac-12 right now. It's nobody's home stadium, and then but everyone can kind of get there easily. Over in the Big 12, we had a really great game. I don't know how much if you watched this at all.
I listened to it on the radio.
Listened on the radio. TCU, who was number 3.
TC who?
TC who? They came back from a little 28-17 deficit in the fourth quarter to tie it, sent it to overtime before Kansas State got the game-winning field goal. They won 31-28. TCU did survive the loss, though, and still made the playoff, which I believe was the right decision.
Yeah.
But yeah, crazy game.
Because people were writing them off if they lost and automatically putting Bama in there for 2 losses.
Yeah, fuck that.
Didn't make much sense.
No.
But you know Nick Saban was hoping that he'd get a
I mean, they even had him on like one of the games, like he was just vouching for his team, which I get it, but it's like, shut the fuck up. You don't have the case. In the SEC, Georgia, they rolled over at LSU 50-30.
They dropped a 50 burger.
50 burger. They even went for 2 to get that 50.
Oh man.
Jim Harbaugh style. First conference title for Georgia since 2017, which I was a little surprised. But they lost the championship game last year.
What was that Peyton Manning quote? If you're if you're gonna
put 40 on Belichick, you put 40 on Belichick.
If you're gonna score 40 in Foxborough, you're gonna score 40 in Foxborough. Or if you have a chance to score 40 in Foxborough,
yeah, you're gonna score
40 in Foxborough.
That's pretty good. And then in the AAC,
there you go.
One of the games we picked, Tulane, they just rolled over my Knights, 45-28.
You're still saying my Knights, huh?
Yeah. Tulane, this is a cool little note. They're playing in their first major bowl game since 1939.
They have one of the coolest logos. It's like
the green wave.
The green wave, but it looks like it hasn't been
updated
in probably since 1939.
Right. Yeah, they'll get to play USC in the Cotton Bowl.
And Tulane I think they were really bad last year, weren't they?
They only won 2 games last year.
They were terrible.
Yeah, so really fast turnaround.
That's sweet.
Pretty cool for their program.
Cotton Bowl is it's a major.
It's one of the New Year's Six bowls.
It's a major bowl game for sure. So that's cool for Tulane. I'm rooting for Tulane.
Fuck yeah, fuck SC, dude.
I know you don't like SC.
I will say though, like I would never really root for SC, but I did want to see them make the playoff just for some representation, you know. Just see them get rolled by Georgia. Would have been cool. In the Big Ten, Michigan handled business pretty easily, 43-22 over Purdue. Big day for Donovan Edwards, 185 yards rushing. And then, last but not least, the ACC championship game, Clemson 39, North Carolina 10. DJ Uiagalelei.
He's in the transfer portal.
He's now in the transfer portal. He got replaced in this game after a tough start, and their next stud, Cade Klubnik, came in 20 out of 24, 279 yards, led the charge to a big victory for Clemson.
Clemson, they bother me.
I think it's Dabo.
Dabo bothers me.
Dabo's kind of
some people like Dabo. I don't think he's a
a little cheesy though.
I don't think he's a bad guy at all. He's probably a great husband, a great father. Yeah. But something about him as a coach just bothers me.
You know those Cheetos Puffs?
Yeah.
He's one of those. He's just cheese puff.
Do you like cheese puffs?
Nah. They're kind of gross.
Yeah, because they're never like a good brand. You get them like in an industrial size packet. Like
and they're just a bunch of air.
Big old tub, yeah.
Cheesy air.
And then you get the residue on your fingers.
Yeah. Now, Flamin' Hot Cheetos, that's a different story.
Flamin' Hot Cheetos are so good.
Wow.
Did you ever eat them with cream cheese?
I've done it before. It's underrated, or maybe overrated at the same time.
I remember seeing girls in like middle school eating that. I'm like, that just looks disgusting.
Yeah.
But
it sounds weird, but
they were onto something.
Yeah.
I think they would buy the bagel and cream cheese, and not eat the bagel, but just eat the hot Cheetos with the cream cheese that you would get.
Yeah. Well, it's got the hot and cool factor, going on.
I'm a big fan of Munchies.
Munchies are fire.
Munchies are so good, but I could do the cheese ones. I'm not a huge fan of like just plain old Cheetos or cheese puffs.
Right. I like
Flamin'
Hots
Flamin' Hots are good. Yeah. I don't really care what they do to my body because they're really good. Because they're not. There's no probably about it. They're not good for you. At all.
Not at all.
But they are good. Shout out to Munchies.
Shout out to Dabo for him turning into Cheetos and cheese puffs and all that.
Yeah.
And Munchies.
And what's funny about you calling it a cheese puff is Clemson wears orange. So it kind of comes together.
So the CFP is set. We got number 1 Georgia. They're going to play number 4 Ohio State. They moved into USC's spot after that loss. They were big Utah fans on Friday.
Yeah.
And then number 2 Michigan versus number 3 TCU.
It's going to suck not being able to see Michigan Ohio State one more time because I think Georgia's going to roll Ohio State.
I agree, but I didn't need to see that again, to be honest.
So I'm going to pick Georgia against Ohio State. And I'm going to pick Michigan. I think Harbaugh's going to make it to the big one. He's going to make it.
I think so.
It's going to be Georgia. I'm picking chalk. It's going Georgia, Michigan.
I agree.
What about you?
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. And we will make our picks against the spread in these games as it gets closer to the date of the games.
Yeah. I just want to say, I think one of my favorite things to one of my favorite moments of the year in sports is the New Year's Six and these 2 games being on New Year's Eve. Right.
Yeah.
It's just such a vibe.
Right.
It really is.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of you're like, man, am I doing anything tonight? It's New Year's Eve.
Right,
Something's gonna be popping off. I got some football on too.
It's
one of my. It's up there with NFL playoffs, Super Bowl, obviously.
Right. No, it is good vibes for sure.
It's just the vibes are immaculate.
Immaculate. The other New Year's Six bowls. We got the Orange Bowl, number 6 Tennessee versus number 7 Clemson.
Okay.
Should be a fun one.
That's another orange matchup.
Right. Sugar Bowl's got Alabama, who's number 5 versus number 9 Kansas State. The Cotton Bowl, like we mentioned earlier, number 16 Tulane versus number 10 USC. And then the Rose Bowl, the granddaddy, which is going to be on January 2nd, not the 1st because that's a Sunday. We got number 11 Penn State versus number 8 Utah.
I've said this before, I think, on this podcast. The Rose Bowl game should be the national championship game. It should be played at. I think the national championship should always be played at the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, I get what you're saying because it is like
it's it is the granddaddy of them all.
Right.
And it's just the Rose Bowl.
I think the Rose Bowl's kind of lost its lust a little bit.
I would agree with that.
Just because the Big Ten and the Pac-12 for a little while were not really the strongest conferences. Big Ten is back up, but I mean, the Big Ten is getting their 3rd best team playing in this game versus Utah, who's not really a national power. They just had a good year.
I don't even think it's up for debate, but I think the Rose Bowl is the most well-known bowl game out of any bowl
100%. Yeah. You could maybe argue that in other parts of the country that they might say the Sugar Bowl or the Orange Bowl or the Cotton Bowl, but yeah.
I'd say Cotton Bowl or Orange Bowl, close second.
Yeah.
Behind Rose Bowl.
Right.
I just like it's just the Rose Bowl. I think I'd probably say that because when I think of the Rose Bowl, I can't help but think of Texas USC
Right.
6. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like the game.
Yeah.
Ever in college. You know what I
Right.
mean? That's the game.
It also had like a lot of classic matchups between Michigan and USC and Ohio State being in there all the time as well.
And you're in LA.
Mm-hmm.
Something about the Roses.
The stadium, even though it's old as fuck, is fucking awesome. I've been there a
You've
couple
been
times.
there,
Yeah. It's just got a great feel. It's got a big bowl style setting.
I would love to go there.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Is it still pretty? Is it like they renovated a little bit, or
They did do some upgrades. Yeah, this is the 100th year of the stadium.
Really?
Yeah.
But it's not the 100th Rose Bowl game.
No, the 100th Bowl. I went to the 100th Rose Bowl game. I went
Yeah.
to 99 and 100,
Oh.
which was a while back. But I guess they must have played it somewhere else before. But yeah. So let's recap our picks real quick. We kind of already did that, but Gage, you went 2-1 this week in college. Good job.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about my college picks.
I did fucking terrible this year. I went 0-3. You scored on Michigan covering 16.5 and Clemson covering 7.5. You lost the TCU game, but nonetheless 2-1. I had USC -3. Hell. LSU plus 17.5, lost by 20. Sick. UCF plus 3.5, got smoked. Sick.
It's tough.
Gage, you went 13-9, or you are 13-9 so far. We're not done with college football. We'll just do some bowl games. We're gonna do the Army Navy game this week as well.
13-9, I'm cool with.
That's pretty damn good. Me 7-13-2. Not so fortunate.
That's a hockey record right
That's
there.
a hockey record. That's the Sharks record, probably.
The Sharks. Did you see that text I sent you guys?
They're stinky.
No, I feel like every time I go to the ESPN app, I see that the Sharks lost. It's the first thing I see. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks. Can we just stop?
Yeah.
Can I just stop seeing the
Rather
Sharks
than-
lost?
Maybe you just gotta take them off your favorites.
Can there be an option where you don't show me the losses?
Right.
I just
Only
wanna-
if they won.
I just want to see the wins.
Yeah. But you'd only get a notification every 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah, so we're just gonna pick the Army Navy game this week.
What do they call this? America's game?
America's game, I guess you could say. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing about this is the line is even.
Let's go.
And I'm gonna let you pick because you have the better record.
Well, we have Army, who's just at a whopping 5-6, and then Navy, who's is worse at a 4-7.
Just killing it.
You know, I'm gonna.
Do you want some history?
I was
we
just
go?
gonna ask.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I wish I knew the history, but let's see.
So overall record, all time, Navy leads the series. Let's see, I had it here. I think what happened here? I believe it's 63, 52, and 7
In favor of.
in favor of Navy. I don't know where the fuck that number went, but anyways, last year Navy won, but Army has won 4 of the last 6, following a run by Navy where they won 14 in a row. So,
Ooh, see now you show me my record. Now I'm kind of scared because I want to,
you want to preserve that?
I want to preserve it. I'm gonna go. Shout out Roger Staubach. I'm picking Navy.
Hey, I like
I'm
it.
picking Navy.
All right. Well, then that means I'm going with the Army. I forget their mascot. Are they the Knights? Like the Scarlet Knights?
Are they?
Something like that. The Black Knights.
Black
The
Knights.
Black Knights.
Ooh, you love the Knights.
I just love those Knights, and you're gonna be you're a midshipman this week.
Would you rather join the Army or the Navy?
I think Navy's kind of harder. Yeah. Army's just a bunch of guys.
Oh my god. Just a bunch of dudes.
Yeah. They're all just like, hey, give me a gun, let's see what happens. I feel like Navy's a little more. They got.
I wouldn't say that to an Army guy.
They got some more direct intentions.
Yeah, I'd rather join the Navy too.
Yeah. For the same reasons.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your
Thank you for your service. You think Joe Biden's gonna beat this game? I think the president always goes to this
He's
game.
got to be there.
He's got to be there. He's the commander in chief.
He's Joe Biden. Chief. All right. Anyways.
Commander-in-Chief.
Couple of final notes of college football. Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, is heading to Colorado. He's going to be a Buffalo, joining the Pac-12.
Did you see what he said to his team? So he had like a kind of like a little meeting with some players on the team. I don't know if it was the whole team. It didn't look like it.
From Colorado or from Jackson State?
From Colorado.
Okay.
He said, basically told the entire Colorado team to hit the transfer portal in his first meeting because he wants to bring his own luggage with him.
What the fuck?
Like what kind of first impression is
What
that?
a dick.
It's just a very odd first impression.
Yeah.
And
So basically, Colorado's going to suck ass for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Minimum.
I didn't know that Colorado this year, and this is probably why that he said this to enter the portal because Colorado is a 1-11 this year.
Yeah, they're bad.
They're bad. You know, actually, I didn't even think about this. I'm okay with him saying this because the team stinks.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
It's just I know he's prime time, Deion, best defensive player arguably ever, best corner ever.
Yeah.
But come on, man,
It's kind of a bush.
it's kind of a bush league move.
Yeah,
100%.
We don't want to see you here anymore.
No.
I know you're getting an education on that. It's great, but see ya.
Yeah. Am I surprised he says something like this? No.
Knowing
This
him.
kind of seems like it's up his alley.
Right. Also, now that the Rose Bowl has jumped on board with CFP expansion in 2024, it's looking like we're heading that direction. Get ready for blowouts, Gage.
I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it, but nothing I can do about it. And will I still watch all these games? Probably. So we'll see how it goes. I'll probably be proven right, like I always am.
Okay. So you're okay with seeing Ohio State blowout, Illinois every year, but in the regular season, but you don't want to see Ohio State blowout Tulane.
No.
Why not?
Well, the regular season, blowouts happen. It's just how it is.
Why can't they happen in the playoffs? Why can't it matter in a more meaningful game, or why can't it happen in a more meaningful game?
Well, it can happen, but because the game means more. Like I don't care about a week 3 blowout from Ohio State. I don't want to see them blow out a team that shouldn't have even been considered to be in the playoff in December. I understand it's a money grab, and these schools will get more players to want to play for them because they have a chance to make the playoff, and I get that. And teams should be entitled, and schools should be entitled to get that kind of money.
Yeah.
I just don't think this is going to bode well for the college football playoff when it comes to a standpoint of if there's going to be blowouts or not.
We'll see. We're gonna see.
Yeah, a couple years, so we'll see. I would not be shocked if the Georgia game against Ohio State is a potential blowout too. I know Ohio State's good.
Yeah.
But even Michigan, the other blowout, I could see Michigan blowing out TCU.
I could see that. Yeah.
Maybe not Ohio State, Georgia, but I would almost guarantee one of these two games will be unwatchable in the second half.
Very possible.
So
yeah.
So you want that for 11 other games, 10 other games?
I mean, I just like the opportunity for a team to upset someone. Also, the opportunity to see highly ranked teams play each other more often.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't want that?
Yeah, it's just.
I know. Blowouts happen though. Like you can't. They happen in the NFL playoffs too.
Yeah.
So. I think it's just been a little bit of an anomaly that they've happened pretty frequently, but I think it's also just the imbalance in college football right now. I think maybe this opens the door for kids to say, hey, I could also go to this program that's got a chance to make the playoff. It doesn't just have to be Bama and Georgia,
And to me, the 4-team playoff, I think it's almost perfect because it means like losses and wins are at such a premium.
Right.
And if you lose one game, then that could beat your season.
But at the same time, that kind of sucks because you're like, oh, we lost now. This season's over. Like I have my interest level after week 6 is done because my team lost one game.
Yeah.
I think it keeps keeps more teams alive longer into the season, which I think that you'll.
Which you could debate also that you're still giving your team false hope because what are your chances of actually winning the championship?
You never know. I mean, hey, you could probably say that this Alabama team could have a chance, but they're not going to get that chance.
They're not.
Right. Yeah. Now that's a little different because they're number 5, so they're right on the doorstep.
Right,
it's not like we're talking about a 16th ranked team or something.
Like
that.
Tulane would not beat any of these 4 teams. Could they? Yes, because any given Saturday, any given Sunday.
Right. No, I agree with
But
you.
generally speaking, I don't think Tulane, who is
Right.
a good team, could beat any of these 4 teams.
Right. Although we did see that UCF team beat Auburn, so I mean that's a once in a few years kind of situation, but
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'll be interesting.
I mean, yeah.
It'll be fun.
I'm still gonna watch the games.
More representation.
Exactly.
It's gonna be there.
So.
I honestly think that they should get rid of the conference championship games, which are never going to do because it's another money grab. But I think those games are stupid and pointless.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my thoughts. All right, NFL time.
On to the NFL. So your Niners won yesterday, but at what cost? Because Jimmy G,
Jimmy,
he broke his foot.
He's
He's done for this season. This is unbelievable. What kind of luck do your Niners have? We know I'm the biggest Niner hater on this side of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't understand how this can happen to you guys twice in the season. I don't like to see this. I'd rather see you guys lose in the playoffs naturally, like
Right.
you normally do.
Yeah, it's hard to fathom losing 2 quarterbacks in 1 year.
It's just like and Jimmy G was playing really well up until the injury.
He was, yeah. He was steering the ship forward for the most part. I will say though that Brock Purdy came in and did a pretty darn good job.
Brock Purdy, Mystery Relevant,
Mystery
the
Relevant.
last pick of the draft.
That's right.
That's pretty remarkable that it's a pretty remarkable story that he was able to make it through, make it on the team,
right.
and then help the Niners win the game, which I had mentioned they won 33-17
Right.
against a Dolphins team that, if you would have told me before the game started that Jimmy G would be out for the game, essentially at the beginning,
Right.
and the Niners would still win with Brock Purdy, I would have called you crazy.
Yeah.
But that's what happened.
Yeah, he came in and did a good job. I mean, there must be something that they have seen in practice that they like enough about him. Like,
Oh, of course.
Maybe he gathers the information really well, or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
I mean, I know teams need backups, but if he wasn't good enough to make the team, he wouldn't be on the team.
Yeah, because I'm sure there's plenty of other veteran guys out there that could sign anyway, instead.
I'm sure a lot of Niner fans might not trust Kyle Shanahan, but he knows what he's doing.
He can put together an offense. There's no question about it. The interesting thing that we're looking at now is that Baker Mayfield just became a free agent today, or is going to be likely a free agent.
He's going to the Niners.
I don't even think they should sign him with intentions of necessarily starting him, but having someone like him as a backup to Purdy, if they feel like he just can't do it at some point.
Well, because they signed somebody else who had been on the Niners like 10 years ago.
Yeah, Josh Johnson.
Josh Johnson.
Yeah. Which I don't know that he's ever actually taken a snap for the Niners, but
Yeah. I
that's
mean,
up to
from what I remember seeing yesterday, Brock Purdy seems like he can get it done.
Yeah,
Or
I mean,
at least manage it. I think your guys' Super Bowl hopes are done.
probably,
Which
yeah.
stinks because we talked about it earlier. Like how many good years or good defenses are you guys gonna have
I know, yeah,
that aren't gonna be able to win a championship?
right. It sucks wasting these years for sure.
That's probably the worst thing is
Yeah.
you guys have the best defense in the league, and you're probably not gonna. You'll make the playoffs probably unless you guys really drop off.
Right. Yeah, I think they still will sneak in.
And you guys maybe could win a game or two, but I don't see you guys. Like if you guys play the Cowboys, you probably win because the Cowboys can't win playoff games. But if you guys play the Eagles, I don't. Brock Purdy, I'm not gonna like you guys' chances.
No,
Especially having to go to Philly if you guys make it to something like that.
When it comes to a road game for the Niners, it's going to be tough sledding, even in the regular season. I think we got to go to Seattle in 2 weeks. That's going to be a scary game, and it's going to be a very meaningful game too.
They play Tom Brady next week,
They're playing Tom Brady,
which is your Gage's guarantee. Don't
That's
forget
right.
your last one of the season.
and the Niners are still 3.5-point favorites with Brock Purdy.
We're going to talk about that here in a second.
We'll see how it goes, but
Yeah.
but yeah,
it just sucks for
Yep.
you, and for all Niners fans,
It's-
and for Jimmy G.
it's unbelievably ironic too that we're like he was supposed to be gone. He never ended up getting traded. Trey Lance gets hurt. He comes in, and now we miss Jimmy more than ever.
I know it's like you wish.
Yeah.
You wish you could have him
It's
back.
just it's crazy.
I
But
mean, if you're Kyle Shanahan, you gotta be thinking like, man, can I catch another fucking break?
right. Well, he's got a chance to make himself look like a super genius if he can right the ship with Brock Purdy back there.
If Brock Purdy wins you guys the Super Bowl in February, You have to get a jersey. You have to.
Even if Brock Purdy just wins like the half of the games the rest of the year, that would be an amazing feat.
Absolutely.
Because I don't think they have a terribly easy schedule. I mean, like I said, we got Buccaneers who they're not that great, but they're playing for a playoff spot. Then Seattle, who's right on our tail after that, and the Raiders who are heating up. We're playing them later in the year.
Not ideal. I'm sorry, my friend. Those are the breaks. Literally, those are the breaks.
What are you going to give me if Baker Mayfield takes the Niners to a Super Bowl? Just gets there.
Just gets there? Dude. That would be amazing.
That would be fucking hilarious.
That would be hilarious. What would I do? I mean, can I have like a week to think about it?
Yeah.
Well, let's wait to see if he actually signs.
Yeah.
So if he signs, we'll figure something out.
Right.
That would be the most ironic thing ever.
I'm not putting on that a shot right now, but it might have to happen at some point.
Jeez. My Cowboys played on Sunday night last night. They won 54-19.
Keep the brakes off the Colts.
They whooped them.
It was kind of an interesting game for a while, and then it just went downhill fast for the Colts.
Yeah. So, I mean, we watched this game, but I kind of drinking, kind of a little bit of brown out there. A little bit, probably. I looked at the stat line. Matt Ryan did throw 3 picks. You can't win when you're throwing picks.
Natty, no dice.
Natty, no dice. Jonathan Taylor did have 82 yards rushing. Only
That's
average.
a decent game.
Yeah, that's a decent game. Dak Prescott didn't really wow the stat sheet either. He went 20 for 30, 107 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, which that's pretty much, in my opinion, his average game. Tony Pollard went 91 yards, 2 tutties. Zeke 77 yards, 1 tutty. That's
a good rushing attack.
That's a pretty good rushing attack right there. I didn't notice that.
Almost 170 yards between the two.
Yeah, and CeeDee Lamb had 5 receptions, 71 yards, 1 touchdown. He's kind of becoming a little touchdown machine.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy.
No.
But he's playing pretty well.
Not quite good enough for Taylor to win.
Oh man.
But I think a lot of it was about the defense getting those takeaways yesterday.
And like I told you, the Cowboys have 3 easy games. So they play the Colts this week. They play the 1-win Texans next week or this week.
That should be a win.
That should be a win. The Cowboys. It would be classic Cowboys from the lose that game. Just saying. And I forgot who the 3rd game is. I know I mentioned it last week, but it's also an easier game.
Right.
And then it's the Eagles.
Yeah.
So the Cowboys really need to win these 3 games.
They got
especially since the Eagles keep winning and they don't seem like they're going to lose anytime soon. It's looking like wild card because the Eagles they're probably going to win the division. They deserve to win the division at this point.
They've played really well to this point.
Yeah.
But you never know. There's still 6 games left.
Yeah. So senior team scored 54. You don't see it all the time.
54 is a fat number.
54 is a number.
Now they had some defensive tech plays late in the game that kind of put it out of reach. But yeah, no, you're right. That is a wild score.
Sorry, Jeff Sunday. Not last night. Not last night.
I will say though, my fantasy football team has done really well since Jeff Sunday got hired.
Since you changed your fantasy football name,
I think I'm undefeated.
You're the 2nd seed now.
I am. I'm getting that bye week, baby.
Congrats. That's pretty big.
That's not.
I'd rather play you than Danny. I'd rather play Danny than you.
I mean,
I'll eat those words next week.
Yeah, right. Yeah, when he spanks you. Yeah, I mean, I think if I was Danny, I would have liked to have that bye week, but
hell yeah, I'd take a bye week whenever you can.
Right.
You know who's like that bye week is Arb.
Right.
Lamar Jackson probably not going to play this week. So.
Right. And who did we get a?
It's not season ending.
It's not too serious.
I think I saw that he's probably not going to play this week, but
yeah, he seems to miss a game or 2 at least every year.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna do this real quick.
Okay.
What else we got from week 13?
Joe Burrow owns Patrick Mahomes.
What a guy!
What a dude!
What a guy!
Did Joe Burrow just have wake up this morning with the biggest dick biggest dick in the world, or what?
Yeah.
He just the Bengals just managed to beat the Chiefs. They do something that nobody besides Tom Brady could do.
Yeah,
just beat the Chiefs.
Heisman. Patrick Mahomes gone to the Super Bowl already.
I wish Joe Burrow was the quarterback of the Cowboys. So I mean, obviously.
He's pretty sick.
Remember a couple years ago I said the Cowboys should have traded Dak and Zeke for the first pick and got Joe Burrow? Does that look that crazy now? No, it doesn't.
Yeah. But do you think today? Well, yeah, today I think Joe Burrow is worth more than those two together, right?
Oh, hindsight, the Bengals would never do that.
Right.
I think at the time, though, it would have been more enticing.
Right.
Because you have these two guys who are proven in the league.
And sort of in their prime, yeah.
And, a guy who has a lot of potential, which he clearly does.
Yeah.
But you don't know. The Bengals would not do that now at all. He's worth more. But Joe Burrow is worth more by himself than Dak and Zeke combined by far.
Right.
Because Zeke, to me, is a non-factor. I mean, he's been playing better with the whole dual threat running back.
Yeah, I think they got a good tandem there.
And,
yeah,
and
right.
Dak can do it. He can play. I'd rather have Joe Burrow 100 times out of 100.
Yeah.
Not even close.
And the Cowboys got some good weapons. Like, even if you took Zeke off the team, Cowboys got some good weapons.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of good games this week, actually, matchup-wise. Bills beat the Patriots on Thursday night. Like you said, Chiefs and Bengals, Niners. Dolphins was a good one. Eagles, Titans was, on paper, pretty decent matchup. Eagles took care of business, though. But yeah. And of course, they still kept the Cowboys on Sunday night.
I know. I thought they were going to flex that out.
That was an easy one, but of course, they're never going to flex the Cowboys. I mean, unless the Cowboys were also bad.
Yeah.
But still, I think everyone wants to see America's team.
It's America's team. I was just going to take the words right out of my mouth. It's America's team.
America's the lamest team.
Chill. Somebody sounds jealous.
Gage, who is your player of the week?
My player of the week is not one player, but a whole defense. I'm picking the Browns defense for a few reasons. Well, actually, for one reason.
Scoring 3 touchdowns.
They scored 3 touchdowns, so they had 2 picks and then a touchdown from those picks, 2 fumble recoveries and 1 touchdown from those fumbles. Also, a punt return touchdown. And they helped me get 31 points in fantasy, which I needed all 31 of those points to beat Brett by 1.5 points in fantasy to clinch my playoff spot as the 6th seed, and I am stoked. Sorry, Dylan, not this year for you.
I am going to pull one off the top of my head. I know Devontae Adams had a big game, and we haven't talked about him, I don't think, at all this year, because Raiders have been kind of ass.
Raiders have not been great.
But I know he had a big game. I'm going to try and look for some numbers here real quick on him. But, hey, I mean, the Raiders got a nice win against the Chargers.
Yeah.
Division foe.
Yes, division wins are always nice.
Always nice. Let's see here. 8 catches, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns. Big day. He's actually been balling out lately too. Yeah, that's his 3rd 2-touchdown game in the last 5 games.
I think the Raiders won 3 straight too.
They are on a roll right now.
After losing to Jeff Sunday,
yeah,
they figured it out.
Might be a little too late for them, but yeah, maybe building towards next year. You could argue.
Man, Raider fans are probably tired of saying next year. Next year, man. Next year.
Right. All right. Time for top 6.
Yes.
Gage, go first this time.
I will go first this time. Let's see. So, coming in at number 1, I got Eagles. Of course, they won. They still have 1 loss. Number 2, I got the Vikings. They have 10 wins, 2 losses. They're the only other double-digit win team besides the Eagles. I'm putting the Bills at 9-3. It's my 3rd spot.
Sure.
I got the Chiefs at 9-3 at the 4th spot. Only reason why they are below the Bills is because the Bills beat them.
Sure.
5, I got my Cowboys at 9-3, and 6 was really hard because it was between the Bengals, Dolphins, and the Ravens. And I think I'm putting the Bengals in there because of the big win against the Chiefs.
Yeah, I almost put them in.
They are 8-4, but it's tough because they've also lost the Ravens, who also lead that division. But it was one of those weird things where the Bengals have lost the Ravens, but the Bengals have beaten the Dolphins, but the Dolphins have beaten,
right.
I think, the Ravens. It's a really, really weird thing. So it's just.
That's why I've kind of tried to actually leave out head-to-head a little bit, because it gets such a carousel,
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
So I think just after the really big win against the Chiefs at home, I'm putting the Bengals in there just to have respect.
There you I didn't change too much. All I really did was drop the Dolphins from number 2 to number 5. So I'm going Eagles number 1, Bills are now number 2, Cowboys 3,
Okay.
Vikings move up to my number 4 spot, and then Dolphins are 5, Chiefs still at 6, even with the loss.
So, I had the Dolphins at 4 last week. I can, after that loss, I got straight to Brock Purdy. It's a really
Right.
bad, it's a bad loss.
And,
It's a
and
bad,
Tua was bad, actually.
bad looking loss. The Dolphins are completely out. Is that a little drastic? Maybe, but it's just.
I still like their wins over Buffalo and Baltimore. I don't think a lot of other teams have this quality of wins as those.
Yeah. Well, and also the Bengals have beaten the Dolphins. I think that's why I put the Bengals in there and took the Dolphins
Right.
out.
I think, though, Tua didn't play in that game, I don't believe. So I think that's only Tua's second loss.
Okay.
So I'm giving a little credit
Right.
to him there.
All right. It's not bad.
Yep. And for me, the Chiefs are still 6 because even though they did lose, I didn't move them at all, but they are 9-3, but their only really good win to me right now is the Niners. Because they beat somebody else when
They beat Tennessee and they beat the Buccaneers.
they beat Tennessee when Malik Willis played.
Yeah.
And then the Buccaneers kind of suck.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, we're not terribly far off.
No. We do it a different way.
Yep.
That's okay.
I almost could put the Cowboys above the Bills, but I like the Bills win over Kansas City, I guess.
The Cowboys
Cowboys have some good wins, but not some monster wins necessarily.
and the Cowboys' schedule has just been kind of marshmallow.
A little bit,
a little
yeah.
cushioned.
Yeah.
Not that many great.
Because
opponents.
Washington and New York, those are pretty good wins, but not amazing wins. Cincinnati and Minnesota, those are 2 good wins though. Maybe it's Cincinnati with what's his face, Cooper, rush hour.
I thought that was a just guarantee, and I thought the Cowboys were going to lose that game.
That was back when the Bengals weren't the Bengals of right now.
Right
The
now.
Bengals are on fire.
Yeah.
I think 8-2 since their 0-2 start.
I'm not sure I love those Bengals orange uniforms they wore yesterday. I think they're kind of ugly.
Were they all orange?
I think they were black
Orange and white.
They were black bottoms and then the orange tops. I want to say,
The ice whites though are.
dude, if they make the Super Bowl again, they have to wear those.
Dude.
They have to wear those.
I believe they're 2-0 in those uniforms, so let's keep it rolling, baby.
Speaking of my Browns right here,
The Brownies.
they whooped ass. 31 points for a defense
That's crazy.
is a lot.
Deshaun Watson didn't even have to do anything in his season debut. Derek Carr throwing picks.
Don't pick sixes.
What's new? Okay. Let's recap our picks from last week. Gage, you went 2-1. Had a good week in football this week.
Yeah.
4-2 overall. You scored on Minnesota -3 against the Jets. Philadelphia covered 5 against Tennessee very easily. I was a little shocked by that score. I thought it would be tighter. Your one loss was Kansas City. You had them beating Cincinnati. That did not happen.
No.
I went 1-2. New England did not show up against the Bills.
Classic ISR wanted to.
Yep. The Falcons, they didn't use that 1 point to their advantage against Pittsburgh at home. They lost by 3, I believe. And then I did cover. I didn't even have to cover. I had Detroit +1 against Jacksonville. They spanked them 40-14.
There you go.
But yeah, Gage, you want to go first?
Yes.
This week.
So
You're now 19-20, by the way.
19 to 20.
I'm 17-22.
The Vikings are getting. How are the Lions favored in this game?
I think it's trappy, but we're on the same side.
Yeah, I'm picking the Vikings +1 against the
I think
Lions.
it's a big trap.
I have to. Well, I have to pick that one. I have to pick
Yeah,
that one.
I'll tell you why I'm picking Minnesota also.
Okay. The Titans, I'm getting them -3.5 against the Jags. I think they can cover. And I'm picking the Buccaneers against your Niners +3.5 against Brock Purdy. I know the Buccaneers haven't been great,
Brock Purdy's pretty good.
but are you picking Tom Brady? Or are you picking Brock Purdy?
I'm picking neither.
Who you got?
I am going to take the Seattle Seahawks to cover 3.5 at home against Carolina.
Okay.
I think that should be. They should win that game. Of course, they're going to win by a field goal. Just crush me. I'm also taking the Bengals -6 at home versus the Browns.
Okay.
Only got to win by a touchdown.
Yeah.
I'll take that. And then I'm also taking Minnesota, like I said, +1 against Detroit. The last time the Lions scored 40 or more, they scored 0 the next week. So I'm rolling with that.
So you said the Cowboys are 17-point favorites.
Yeah.
I don't.
That's a fishy line. They're going to win by exactly 17. Watch.
I don't think they'll cover, but I'm not going to get anywhere near that one.
Yeah, it's
17 is a number.
It just feels like it's one of those games where they probably walk in like they know they're going to win, and then they don't win by a lot.
No. It's not. I mean, I'm like, I would never even touch any kind of number like that.
Yeah, it's not worth it. Because, I mean, even you tried to play 14 and a half and didn't get it the other day. Picks are in.
Picks are in.
And that means it's what time, Gage?
That was easy.
Time for last call.
We made it. Unbelievable.
Can't believe it.
I only got one thing,
Okay.
but you let me know if you want to go first.
I'll go first. Fuck it.
All right.
So you thought that I would go this whole podcast episode
Oh, you thought.
without mentioning that LeBron James passed Magic Johnson in assists. When you think of Magic Johnson, what do you think of?
Dimes.
Passing the motherfucking ball.
Or HIV. But
Yeah,
that's the one.
easy.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Easy. So LeBron James passed Magic Johnson all-time assists.
Yeah.
And I understand LeBron James has played a lot more years of basketball than Magic Johnson did.
Sure.
And could Magic Johnson, if he played longer, be probably top 5?
Yeah, but their
Top
average
3.
assists per game is probably way different, right?
Yeah. It's just, this guy, when LeBron's done, he's going to be... He does kind of pad the stats, but he's a great player.
He's an animal.
He passed Magic Johnson, who's arguably the best point guard of all time in assists.
Right.
It's impressive.
Yeah. So where does that put him all time on the assist leaderboard?
He
fifth?
is sixth now. He's behind Mark Jackson, which he could probably pass. Mark Jackson has 10,334, and at the time where I screenshotted this, LeBron had 10,142.
Oh, yeah. So
So-
he'll probably get that this year.
What's funny is Steve Nash is ahead of Mark Jackson by 1 assist.
Is that right?
So LeBron's going to pass both of them, and then he still has some time. He might get Chris Paul. Chris Paul is 11,071, but Chris Paul is still playing.
Yeah, right. And it's Stockton's number 1, right?
Stockton has 15,800.
Fucking who's number 2?
Jason Kidd,
Oh, that's right.
12,091.
I forgot he was a dimer.
So LeBron's going to be top 5,
Yeah.
at least in his career,
Yeah, probably 4th.
in assists. So congrats to LeBron James. I haven't given him love in this podcast in a while, so
Just keep it that way.
There we
Did you
go.
see when he got swatted by Giannis the other day?
yeah, yeah.
It's pretty sick. Okay, I went down a rabbit hole the other day, like I love to do.
Okay.
It started with talking about Tim Tebow, or looking up Tim Tebow.
Really?
Apparently they're doing a documentary on ESPN about Tim Tebow, I
Okay.
think.
Sweet.
But anyways,
Are you gonna watch
I saw a commercial
Are
about
you
it.
gonna watch?
No. But anyways,
What do you mean?
I found this box score from the 2007 national championship game.
That Florida one.
Florida beat Ohio State 41-14. Tim Tebow wasn't the starting quarterback yet. He played a little bit, but he was back up to Chris Leak. But they use him in like running plays and
Okay.
gadget plays or whatever. But this is not about Tim Tebow. What I'm about to tell you. So Troy Smith, you remember Troy Smith? Played quarterback for the 49ers for a hot minute.
He played for Ohio State.
Heisman winner,
Oh.
quarterback for Ohio State. He, in the national championship game, he's coming off a Heisman. He's feeling good, probably. They're the number 1 seed, I think, as well. He went 4 for 14 for 35 yards, no touchdowns, and a pick in this game.
He didn't play the whole game, did he?
There were no other quarterback stats.
What were the rushing stats?
He also...
No, like for like a running back, like they must have handed the ball off.
their running
30
back
times.
had 10 carries for 62 yards. They hardly had the ball.
What was the final score?
41-14.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if they have the time of possession on here, but like I saw that and I'm like, you're telling me the Heisman Trophy winner quarterback
That's
went 4 for 14. They only let him throw the ball 14 times, and he probably got sacked a bunch of times because he had negative 29 rushing yards.
that's bad.
It's fucking awful.
That's bad.
I mean, they must have only run like 30 plays in the game, give or take.
wow.
Yeah, pretty.
That
Just blew my mind.
that's a pretty good rabbit hole pick right there. I like
Right.
that. I like that.
And Troy Smith still after that performance was the number 6 overall pick in the draft.
Wow.
Or no,
What?
I take that back. He was
So
a
did you already
fifth round.
explain what made you go down this rabbit hole?
Yeah, started with Tim Tebow.
Okay.
Yeah, I just looked up his college numbers because I was trying to remember what year he won the Heisman. It was actually the first year he became a starter, and then he finished. He got Heisman votes the 2 years after that as well before he got drafted. but that was, I believe, yeah, because he won two national championships,
I was gonna ask you one too.
but
And
he wasn't technically a starting quarterback for the first one.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Gotcha. The last thing I'm gonna mention is Spotify had their Wrapped
Yep.
this week, and do you want to admit what your top artist was on Spotify?
I'm good.
You good? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think so. And I just want to shout out to our fans because we have our podcast on Spotify, so they do give us a Spotify Wrapped type
Right.
thing.
Because Anchor is also who we post our podcast through is has a link with
Yeah.
Spotify.
So I just want to say we were the top podcast for 5 fans. We were a top 5 podcast for 9 fans, and we had a top 10. We were a top 10 podcast for 13 fans.
That's pretty good.
So those numbers to people listening might sound small, and they are, but to us, they're massive.
Massive.
And that's not to say there's other people who probably watch us or listen to us through Apple Podcasts, and if you do that, then thank you as well. But shout out to the fans.
Yeah. Thank you.
I really like how Spotify does. I'm a music nerd, so I like how Spotify does this whole accumulation of things that you listen to and all that.
Right. I like that we're number 1 for 5 people. I think that's the biggest one for me.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I do. I like the top 10 for 13. I think that because the numbers are bigger, but
Right.
yeah, top podcast for 5 people. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
I just don't know how.
And we're not one of those 5.
No, correct.
No, we're not at all. I don't listen to our podcast.
No. I mean, maybe they're counting me because I've had to tap into it on Spotify a couple of times, and that's the only podcast because I don't listen to podcasts.
Well, your Spotify Wrapped probably should have given you podcasts that you listen to.
Maybe.
For me, it did because I listen to podcasts.
Right.
So
Yeah, it did. I don't think it did.
Okay.
For me, but so maybe not.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool nonetheless. Good
Absolutely.
stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuffs. All right, I think that's gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, I think
for
we're
us.
good. I think we're good.
It's great back being in the studio with
Yes,
you, bud.
it's a little warm in here.
Yeah, I'm sweating for sure.
Yeah, I looked at my face on the video and I'm
A
pink,
little toasty.
a little toasty. I gotta say that first cocktail got me a little giggly. It got me back to my buzz.
Yeah.
Got my buzz back. But I did finish this as well.
That's why I had the corpse survivor. Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Might be the last Bud Light I have this year.
No.
I can't even remember the last time I had a Bud Light, honestly.
I would say I'd bring some Bud Lights to a New Year's party. We probably work on New Year's Eve, right?
Yeah, most likely.
Bummer. Probably not gonna do anything anyways, but we'll
Yeah.
see.
All right. Well,
Thank you for listening.
watching. Give us a rating if on
Yeah.
Spotify.
We weren't 100% today, but you know what?
We did it.
We did it.
We were here.
I feel good now. I'm
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
I got somewhere to be an hour and a half. I'm good.
Yes, sir. Yep. Like Gage said, thank you all for watching, listening. We'll see you next week. Peace.